I wanted to briefly review the four-component instructional design model as it pertains to medical education. I found an article by Vandewater et al. Through a PubMed search that was rather informative, and I hope to review it for you briefly here. Figure 1 from the article nicely depicts the 4C ID model and its four components: learning tasks, supportive information, procedural information, and part task practice. Learning tasks are representative of the physician's work. These include both routine and non-routine tasks. As evidenced by the circles here, there is less support and guidance offered as the learner progresses through the program. The diamonds demonstrate periods of learner reflection from which they can solidify learning concepts prior to their next attempt. The steps involved in learning task component of the 4C ID model include designing learning tasks, developing assessment instruments, and sequencing learning tasks. For example, as referenced in the article, medical students learning about patients with diabetes might have four learning task classes: diagnosis and treatment, management, organization of the practice, and motivational interviewing. These four task classes have already been ordered in a way that increases complexity, such that a subsequent task relies on competency achievement in prior task classes. The next component of the 4C ID model is supportive information. This represents the theory of a particular learning concept and helps with problem solving and reasoning. Typically, supportive information helps learners with non-recurrent aspects of learning tasks, comparing their cognitive schema with those of experts or other learners, and can come in the form of books, web-based tutorials or articles, or class notes. Figure 3 has two examples of supportive information. The first is Part B, which represents supportive information for the whole task class, such as reading materials associated with the learning topic. Part F depicts supportive information throughout the learning task, such as performance objectives or standards, worked case examples, and cognitive feedback to learners. Ultimately, the supportive information component is comprised of three steps: designing supportive information that learners will use through their learning task, analyzing the cognitive strategies that proficient task performers use when presented with task classes, and analyzing the mental models that describe how the domain is organized. The next component of the 4C ID model is a procedural information, which provides learners with information on how to perform recurrent aspects of a task in a just-in-time fashion. This can be either step-by-step or in a corrective fashion. This is demonstrated in Figure 3 as arrows offered in association with learning tasks. These can be as simple as a review of landmark assessments and verbally walking through a lumbar puncture pre-procedure, or corrective feedback after a failed intubation as to how to more successfully complete the task on the next attempt. The three steps of the procedural information component involve connecting units of procedural information while providing just-in-time info on how tasks should be carried out, identifying the condition-action pairs that drive routine behaviors, and analyzing the knowledge that is prerequisite to connection use of cognitive rules. The last component of the 4C ID model is part task practice, which recognizes that some components of a task are rather automatic and recurrent. I think of this as a third-year medical student on surgery who has suture tied to his scrubs and is constantly tying surgeon knots to get the habit down. As evidenced in Figure 1, these part task practices happen repeatedly to promote automaticity of recurrent task aspects, practice items with just-in-time information, and compile and strengthen rules of task performance. I want to thank you for taking a look at this. I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. Thank you again. Have a good day.
Created using Powtoon.